Welcome into the Daily Wager Studios alongside Tyler Fulgham and Joe Fortenbaugh. I am Doug Kazarian. The poinsettia's here. It's the holiday season. That also means the NBA season is starting soon. A lot of big names, as you would imagine, on the betting board for the MVP. Luka Doncic, just 21 years young. He is your favorite. Back-to-back MVP. Giannis Antetokounmpo right behind him at plus 450. Former two-time MVP. Stephen Curry is at 750. Anthony Davis had a big NBA Finals and playoff run with the Lakers, 8-1. There's LeBron, his teammate, plus 850. Kawhi Durant off injury, and James Harden in the double digits. All right, among the favorites, Tyler, who's caught your eye?
It's not anything outrageous, but I just do think Luka Doncic is the best bet to win the MVP this season. His progression from year one to year two took him from all-star to MVP caliber elite player, and in year three, hopefully with a healthy Kristaps Porzingis, by getting Josh Richardson in that rotation, I think what was last year an historically efficient offensive team keeps that mojo going. I think the kind of confidence he got with shots like this in the postseason against teams like the Clippers when he didn't have KP and his whole cast of characters around him, I think he's ready to ascend to a 29 or 30 point, 10 assists, 10 rebound, maybe average a triple-double, but certainly something close. And I do think the Mavs are going to be a top 3 team in the Western Conference. And by helping ascend the team into maybe first, second, or third seed in the West, the voters are going to look at Doncic with the stats and say, that's the guy.
Yeah, there always seems to be kind of an ascension with certain players. It feels like he's ready to take that next step. The NBA has not seen a three straight MVP since Larry Bird a few decades ago. Would you be interested in Giannis?
No, not at all, especially not at that price. The numbers he would have to put up this year in order to win that award again would have to be astronomical. Now, I know we don't count the postseason when it comes to the MVP award, but this guy's won the award 2 years in a row, and both years he's followed that up by going into and flaming out of the playoffs. That's eventually going to get into your head, right? As a voter, even though you don't consider it, a year of people saying, look, none of this regular season stuff's going to matter for Giannis. It's all about the postseason. If you can't deliver as the brightest star in the game on the biggest stage, how valuable can you be? I think that creeps into their mind. I wouldn't want to bet him this year.
There is voter fatigue in all sports, not just the NBA. And I also do think the playoff performance is way on voters. It's in the back of their heads. Like, I don't think James Harden ever has a chance to win Heisman again. Gee, Heisman. I was talking about Heisman also.
I'll take
There's
that
voter fatigue. James Harden never has a chance to win the MVP again and be in the consider because of what he's done in the playoffs, kind of hit that wall when it matters the most. Let's bring in Preston Johnson. Preston, among the favorites, who has caught your eye?
It's Luka Doncic, and it's not even a question for me. You know, Tyler mentioned the historically great offense. Look, Luka led them to that offense as a 20-year-old. Think about historically great offenses, who the number 2 and number 3 sidekicks were. Kristaps Porzingis, Tim Hardaway Jr. Do you know how special that is? Like, Luka is just so far and beyond like what people would have expected by now. And if they make the leap that I expect, because MVP is tied to how well your team plays. Look, last year, you look at their Pythagorean wins, they were expected and performed based on their points scored versus the points allowed on average, like a 50-win team. They only won 43. They underachieved more than any other team in the league. They're going to be a much better team just from a wins perspective in the West. And if they're competing and near the top of a stacked Western Conference, Luka's going to be the reason, and then it puts him atop the list for MVP. So I think he's the guy.
And unlike in the NFL, you don't have to be a 1 or a 2 seed. If you're like a 4 seed, 5 seed, Westbrook won it as a 6 seed, I believe. So that's certainly part of the equation. Now, what about some value plays? So those are the favorites. What about a value play, Joe?
Jason Tatum at 22-1 for the Boston Celtics. He's entering year 4, and he's gotten better every single year he's been in the league. Last year, career highs in points, rebounds, assists, steals, player efficiency rating. The guy doesn't miss any games. He's missed 11 of a possible 236 regular season games his 3 years in the league. So you don't have to worry about load management being an issue. And last year, he busted out in a big way in the playoffs. 25, 10, and 5 while playing 40 minutes a game. Preston hit the mark too. Got to play for a good team, but you can't play for a super team because the voters don't like that. Celtics are going to be good enough with Tatum. I like him at 22-1.
Yeah, and again, another guy kind of like Luka, young but ready to take that giant next step, and he's certainly the guy in Boston. What about you, Tyler? Any value plays?
Yeah, there's 3 names I'll mention. I'll focus on one. Durant at 15-1, I kind of like if he looks the way he has so far in the preseason. Nikola Jokic at 25-1 if the Nuggets are the top team in the West. But Joel Embiid at 40-1. I really do think the Sixers can be a 1 or 2 seed in the East. And I think Daryl Morey and Doc Rivers have assembled a much better fit in terms of roster construction around Joel Embiid at 40 to 1. The problem with Embiid is always minutes and games played. In his career, his per 36 averages are 28 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 stocks, steals and blocks combined. And we know he's a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. But the most minutes per game he's ever averaged in a season is 33. If he can get somewhere near that, play 33, 34, maybe that's not the best way to manage him, but if he can do that, he'll put up massive numbers. And if Philadelphia kind of achieves what I think they can in the regular season as a team, he has those credentials. He has the narrative. He's a big personality. He'll have the numbers. And if they're as good as I think they can be, 40 to 1, I like those odds.
Yeah, I've had an odds maker tell me that if he's out in terms of adjustments to the point spread, he's up there with Giannis, LeBron.
Yep. The term value.
Yeah.
The value to his team. There it is.
He's right there. Preston, do you have a long shot or value play?
Tyler and I are on the same page. For me, it's Joel Embiid as well. He mentioned Daryl Morey. He mentioned the analytics. Doc Rivers, what they're planning on doing. I think analytics in the NBA sometimes gets a bad rap. Like in Houston, it's like, oh, analytics, a lot of three-pointers. Ultimately, analytics are trying to maximize or optimize how many points you can score per possession on offense and then how many you can limit on defense. And for Joel Embiid last year, in an offense that wasn't very analytically savvy, he still averaged 1.14 points per direct post-up. It was the 4th best in the NBA. It would have ranked number 2 behind only the Mavericks in offensive efficiency as a team. Now they're surrounding him with shooters. He's going to probably average a few more assists. He's going to be on the block more often. No Horford to share rebounds. Then I think he's going to get the points. And one thing more about Morey and Houston, they were never shy about load management. They didn't really rest guys. They had a short rotation and maximized minutes. They're going to push Embiid as far as he needs to go. And if Philly can get to that 1 or 2 seed, he's also going to be in the mix.
I thought about that Embiid play. I think it's for all the reasons you guys mentioned. I do think that is worth playing. I'm also going to go with the biggest long shot. Trey Young of the Atlanta Hawks. We're talking 60 to 1. Couple things. He averaged 30 and 9 last year in an offense that was about bottom 5 in terms of efficiency. They're going all in on analytics. They added 2 shooters with Gallinari and also Bogdanovic. He could just put up insane numbers as this offense flourishes. I mentioned earlier, you don't need to be a 1 or 2 seed. They could be sneaky solid this year. If he's a 5 seed or 6 seed, Trey Young, and obviously kind of moves the needle in terms of electricity and popularity. I think it's worth a play at 60 to 1 as well.
Yeah, I do like that. Trey Young last year had MVP caliber numbers. Like 30 and 9 at his age is ridiculous.
Which is like top 5 in both,
If he can have
right?
signature moments, if he has a 50-point game where he nails one of those 45-foot threes from the logo to, get them above 500 or hit their over, like, he can have those signature moments.
I'm fascinated to see what this Hawks team looks like going all in on efficiency as well.
Remember something, their general manager, Travis Schlenk, was the assistant GM in Golden State who put that team together around Steph Curry. That's what he's trying to do with Trey Young as well.
There you go. Good background. Even better. Another feather in that cap. All right. Well, that's going to do it. Season upon us. And the MVP odds will continue to move throughout the season. We'll weigh in on those as well.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.